Welcome to this video tutorial on using the DEWS desktop software tool. This video will cover the main aspects of the DEWS tool, and is designed to be a general introduction, that is supplemented by hands-on training. The first thing we need to do is to install the application on our computer. For this, we double-click the provided DEWS software install package. The install application starts. We are presented with a welcome screen. We click Next to advance. We are asked to select a location for installation. A default location has been suggested. We will accept this by clicking Next. If asked whether or not to create the destination directory, we say yes. In this case, we click Start to begin the process of installation. The DEWS installer copies files onto our computer and configures itself. It concludes with a message that installation was successful. We exit to complete the process. The DEWS installer has created a shortcut to the application on the desktop. It has also created a program group, where associated icons can be found. The install includes an icon for starting the DEWS tool and a link to the user manual. To start the DEWS desktop tool for the first time, we double-click the icon that is on our desktop. After the splash screen, we are asked to select a district. We select one and click Next. The DEWS tool completes the configuration. When the application starts up, we are presented with the main window with a blank data month. Let us take a tour of the main window. First is the menu bar. Here the main application commands are accessed. Then there is the toolbar with shortcuts for common commands. At the bottom of the screen are the view selectors for switching between entries for the various forms used for data collection. At the far right of the screen are the buttons used to add, edit or delete records in the current view. The DEWS desktop tool indicates at the top of the screen the current district, year and month. For the rest of this demonstration, we will work with data that had been previously entered and backed up. This data could have initially been entered manually or by importing mobile data. For more information on these two techniques, please refer to the DEWS tool user guide. From the menus, we select Tools, Restore Data. We click Next to advance beyond the welcome screen. We click Browse and navigate to find our sample backup file. This file could be anywhere else. It was placed on the desktop for this video tutorial. We select the file, click Open, and Next to start the restore process. The DEWS tool reads the backup file and presents us with a list of the date and months available from the backup. We select the month of data to retrieve. It is possible to select any combination. We click Next to begin the restoration of data from the backup. The DEWS tool proceeds to read the data as selected. When the process is complete, we are asked to click Finish. To view the data month that was imported, we click Open on the toolbar. We browse and select the required month, which should now appear in the list of months. The DEWS tool retrieves the month and displays its records on the screen. To edit any records, we select the page with data, highlight the record and click Edit. We can also add or delete any records. The final task in processing data with the DEWS tool is the production of the early warning drought bulletin. This consists of 3 steps. The first is the computation of monthly indicator values and the use of thresholds to determine sectoral and livelihood phase classifications. The second is the use of the early warning phase classification tool to determine the global early warning phase per livelihood zone, and to generate the district situational map. The third is the generation of the template drought bulletin. Let us now have the DEWS tool compute the monthly indicator values and evaluate threshold positions. From the menus, select Tools, Calculate Indicator Thresholds. The Calculate Indicator Thresholds wizard starts. We click Next to start the process. The wizard computes monthly indicator values and compares with predefined thresholds. It then updates charts that will appear in the drought bulletin. When the process completes, we are presented with a final screen that shows the indicators that have been computed grouped into sectors and livelihood zones. A phase classification has been determined for each indicator. Sector classifications have been determined by evaluating member indicators. Livelihood zone classifications are based on evaluating sectors. We click Finish to close the wizard. We now need to use the Early Warning Phase Classification tool to set the global phase. To start the tool, from the menus, select Tools, Early Warning Phase Classification tool. The first page, Vulnerability Indicators, displays a graphical summary of the result of indicator threshold computation. There is one row for each livelihood zone in the district. Each column represents a sector and cuts across the livelihood zones. The phases for each of the sectors within livelihood zones are indicated by graphical gauges that have an arrow, whose position depends on the phase classification. A different color is used for each sector. Under each sector gauge, the DEWS tool shows the phase classification derived from the indicator thresholds. The number of indicators considered is shown in parentheses. Sector, livelihood zone intersections which do not exist in the district, or for which there is no data, will show up as not specified. To view the indicator details for a sector, click the underlined phase. Details of how the indicators were assessed appear. This is the same information that was presented after the initial calculation of thresholds. If, for whatever reason, we wish to override the automatically selected phase, we can do so. Double-click the indicator in this window. The Phase Classification Indicator Details window appears. Uncheck the Automatically Compute Phase from Defined Thresholds checkbox. Move the phase slider to the desired position. Click OK. The phase classification is adjusted. An asterisk indicates that this was a manual adjustment. Click OK again. The phase classification for the sector in that livelihood zone may be adjusted. Let's set the global phase. The global phase consists of the average of the vulnerability indicators per sector adjusted based on the risk of drought. We start by specifying the risk of drought. Let's say in this case it is known to be low. The DEWS tool determines the global phase based on assessing the vulnerability indicators and the risk of drought. We also specify the trend for each livelihood zone. When we click on the district map, it is updated to reflect the situational overview. This map, the global phase, and the vulnerability indicators are now ready to be included in the bulletin template. We click OK to close the window. The final step is to generate the bulletin template. To do this, from the toolbar, we click Report. The Reports wizard appears. We navigate to Bulletin Generate. From here we can ask the DEWS tool to create one of two types of bulletin templates. These templates are created in Microsoft Word format, so that they can be edited and augmented with commentary. Because both types of templates take 2 to 5 minutes to generate, we had already created samples and saved them on our desktop. Let's open the 2-page summarized bulletin. It has the map and livelihood zone details. There are text boxes for the user to key in the commentary for each section. Let's open the 12-page detailed bulletin. The first 2 pages are the same as the summarized bulletin. Pages 3 through 12 contain additional information. There are graphs included that are based on the information the DEWS tool processed. These 2 templates form the basis for the final Doubt bulletin, as produced by the districts. This ends our video tour of the DEWS tool. This training is designed to be supplemented by hands-on training. For more information, please refer to the user manual. Welcome to this video to